Hello everyone, thanks for coming outside with me today. It's July 2nd, which means that July 4th is just in 2 days, and where we celebrate our country's independence. And I hope that you have time to reflect and think about all the men and women who sacrificed so much for us to be able to enjoy the sport of archery, the sport of archery hunting. And with the sport of archery hunting in mind today I would like to talk a little bit about draw weight in regards to hunting, what you should really be looking for and what you really should be shooting for as a good solid draw weight. One of the most common questions I see posed on the internet is, hey, I just inherited a 35, a 40, a 45 pound recurve from my grandfather, my uncle, my dad. Is that enough to hunt with? Is that enough to kill a whitetail? And the short answer to that question is yes. The long answer to that question is there are several factors you have to consider before you try to take such a bow into the woods. This bow and arrow setup for me, this is a wing gull recurve. It's a 43 pound recurve at a 28 inch draw. This is a 507 grain gold tip Expedition Hunter arrow. Combined, the lethality of this, I believe, is no more than 20 yards. I shoot instinctively, so I don't use any sights, so I definitely am counting on my muscle memory. For something like this, yes, it has enough adequate momentum and force behind it. And you can find calculators online that calculate kinetic energy, that calculate the foot-pounds of energy, that this arrow has on impact. But I really believe that it comes down to shot placement and a good, sharp, sturdy broadhead. Most places here in the United States have a minimum draw weight that you have to have in order to hunt. Here in the state of Pennsylvania, it's 35 pounds. My wife's Infinite Edge here is set to 37 pounds. Coupled with a very sharp, in this case a Magnus Stinger 2-blade broadhead, is a perfect hunting combination. For shots 25 yards and under, at her short draw length of 25.5 inches and only 37 pounds, this arrow, which couples to about 400 grains of weight, is perfectly adequate for harvesting a whitetail. I'm not saying you have to go out and shoot your state's minimum poundage, 25, 35, whatever poundage it is. But I am saying that you don't have to go all out starting at 70 pounds or even maxing your bow out to 70 pounds if you've been shooting 70 for a while. I wish that I could shoot all my bows between 45 and 55 pounds. But I buy all my bows secondhand, so I'm stuck with what the previous archer had. So both of my bows are in the 60 to 70 pound range, so I have them backed out as far as I can safely have them. So my PSE is set at 61 pounds, and my Hoyt is set at 63. Taking those poundages and coupling them with 400 plus grain arrows, and I do use a mechanical broadhead, I use an NAP Shockwave. That setup has been perfectly lethal for me for deer. I've had complete pass-throughs 30 yards and under. Draw weight is really being smart with yourself. Really, a lot of people think, how much poundage do I need to kill a whitetail? Well, really, how much poundage can you effectively pull while you're trying to harvest that deer? I think that's a better question than you need to ask yourself. The worst thing that you can do is be overbowed. In particular here in Pennsylvania, the Northeast, we see a lot of cold weather. I really enjoy hunting in that late season. And when I have to go outside and it's -10, I need to draw a bow back, I don't want to be cranking 70 pounds. I'd love to see 55, 60 pounds at the most. When I started using traditional equipment for archery hunting, it really allowed me to look at archery hunting in a different lens. I'm limiting myself to 15, 20 yard shots with a recurve, then it really kind of starts to think, well, maybe I should be limiting myself to that distance with my compound, or if you're a crossbow hunter, or if you're a rifle hunter, how close can you get? It's really a challenge as a hunter to see how close you can get, and it's even more exciting, I guarantee you, when that deer is standing at 10 yards than when it's standing at 100. So if you want an end-all be-all to the question, 35 pounds is my minimum. But that doesn't mean you can go out and shoot 50 yards with a 35 pound bow. You really have to understand your arrows and your setup's limitations. But even more importantly, you have to follow your state's regulations. Whatever your state's minimum is, obviously don't go any lower than that. That's just plain silly. So I hope you're able to get out, enjoy the sport of archery, enjoy the sport of archery hunting, enjoy God's beautiful creation, and we'll get to see you next time.